place where people...
where our story becomes a tantalizing mystery. You see, despite its protected status as both a scheduled ancient monument
Crashed by the ravages of time and packed full of symbolism and hidden meaning, they are...
Ancient secrets are coming back to life. Under cold stone layers, in the darkness of forgotten tombs, the marks of the Knights Templar are showing up one by one, like history itself is unfolding in a way nobody saw coming. Cross symbols, warrior graves, caves carved with mysterious signs, all of it is stirring up curiosity mixed with chills in people everywhere. The Knights Templar, the group that once guarded the Holy Land and kept Christianity's deepest sacred secrets, have long faded into legend. They're wrapped in a glow of loyalty, sacrifice, and secrets the Church once wanted buried. And now, those secrets are slowly coming out through the latest archaeology finds. In today's video, we'll look at 5 big discoveries, from strange tombs to items tied straight to the Holy Sepulchre, Christian symbols, and even the bloodline of Jesus. Each one is checked against the Bible and the prophecies in Revelation, Matthew 24, about end-time signs. In this chaotic age, wars, disasters, unrest, these finds might not just be old bones and stones. They could be reminders, a wake-up call from the Creator himself that his return is getting close. They don't just tell about the past, they're holy proof that the promise of salvation is being fulfilled. Watch to the end, because each discovery opens a new door to the final secret you definitely don't want to miss. And now, let's dive in and explore these earth-shaking Templar finds. 1. Discovery at St. Mary's Church in Enville, England. Right in what seems like the quietest spot, a little old church in the village of Enville, a secret that slept for centuries, suddenly woke up. It shook not just the archaeology folks, but anyone who cares about Templar legends. No warning, no clear clues, just a bunch of odd crosses showing up from the dirt layers, like somebody left a message on purpose for folks down the road. And once that secret started coming out, every eye turned right here. The big find belongs to researcher Edward Spencer Dias. While checking the graveyard at St. Mary's, he spotted 8 medieval graves carved with a cross inside a double circle, what folks call the standard Templar design, usually only on the tombs of knights who went on the Crusades. Some headstones even show a clear Crusader cross and the classic Templar symbol, sharp enough that it's hard to believe they've been underground for over 700 years. Big papers like the Express and Star, Catholic Herald, and Ancient Pages all ran the story, calling it one of the clearest Templar traces ever found in England. According to well-known scholar Helen Nicholson, the Enville area once had ties to Templar protection, linked to local landowners and dealings from the 12 and 1300s. That backs the idea that St. Mary's might have been a stopover, burial spot, or even a secret base for the Knights Templar. But the more proof there is, the thicker the mystery gets. As soon as the news spread, other experts pushed back quickly. They say no old records show the Templars ever owned land in Enville. The symbols on the graves could just be regular medieval decoration, not enough to be sure. No Templar objects turned up in those graves. No writing, no badges, no papers to say who's down there. Still, that fuzziness is what makes the find so interesting. The symbols are too plain to call random, but too short on proof to say 100%. It all builds a theory that some power is trying hard to hide the truth, while the truth keeps pushing up from the dark after hiding for thousands of years. On the headstones, those crosses sit quiet under the stone, but one look and you picture Jesus on the hill of Golgotha. In John 19, verses 17 to 18, the Bible says, "He went out bearing his own cross, and there they crucified him." So those symbols aren't just patterns. They carry a spiritual meaning, reminding us of the sacrifice and victory of the Savior. The Templars saw themselves as warriors of God, guarding the Holy Land and its sacred heritage. That matches the picture of the apostles in Acts 4, verses 1 through 22, folks who protected the early church with rock-solid faith. So, 8 graves with holy warrior signs right here in England sparks guesses that this could be the resting place of knights who risked everything for their beliefs. Plenty of researchers float bold ideas. The people in those graves might be the warriors of God. The prophecy in Joel 2 verses 1 through 11 talks about a great and powerful people. They run like mighty men. Even if the explanation leans more symbolic than historical, the way the images line up makes it a gripping extra layer. And then, looking at the timing of the find, 2021, lots of folks believe this isn't just plain archaeology. Because in Matthew 24, verses 32 to 33, Jesus talks about signs of the end times. When the fig tree's branch gets tender and puts out leaves, you know summer is near. So when you see all these things, know that the Son of Man is near. Ancient secrets suddenly popping open, especially ones tied to knights who carried a mission to protect faith, makes many believers think God is waking humanity, reminding us his promise is close to being fulfilled. Picture this. For hundreds of years, wind blew across that graveyard, rain wore down the stone, grass grew over the faces of the tombs. Everything faded into forgetting. And then, right when people are spinning with wars, disasters, chaos, those cross symbols show up again, like a gentle reminder, a soft sound from the past saying, "Stay awake." St. Mary's Church suddenly turns into a door to the past, where every mark on the stone seems like a simple carving, but really, it's a missing piece of a bigger story. One that Templars, the Bible, and end-time prophecies are all tying together. So far, the mystery isn't fully solved. Those graves are still there, daring anyone to crack them. Every night, wind still blows through the graveyard, draping them in heavy quiet. But one thing's sure, this find has kicked off a bigger journey of figuring things out, with questions that dig deep into history, faith, and the fate of mankind. And if Templar traces pop up right when the world's in upheaval, is that just chance? Or is it a sign of the faith awakening the Bible warned about? The search keeps going, and the next secrets will be even wilder. Keep watching, because the deeper you go, the more the curtain pulls back on things you can't look away from. 2. Discovery at Rennes-le-Château-Languedoc in France. Nobody thought that little spot Rennes-le-Château, already soaked in dark legends for over 100 years, would stir up trouble again between 1999 and 2006. That's when explorer Ben Hammett said he'd found a secret tomb way down underground, holding an old mummy wrapped in a shroud marked with a Templar cross. The claim shook up the archaeology world, and folks in Languedoc whispered that Europe's biggest secret had finally come to light. Plain and simple, if what Hammett found is real, then the whole history of Christianity and every Templar story would have to be rewritten. In that tomb, he described chests of gold decorated with crusade designs, old Spanish and Jerusalem coins from the 1300s, and a beat-up metal cup that a lot of people believe, or hope, is a trace of the Holy Grail lost for 2,000 years. Every detail, from the stone tomb setup to the way the shroud was wrapped, screamed secret Templar ritual. What makes this find even stranger is how many legends already swirl around Rennes-le-Château. Since the 1800s, people have believed this area ties into Jesus' bloodline, that Mary Magdalene set foot in southern France, that the Merovingian family carried holy blood. A mystery mummy next to Templar symbols showing up right here fanned the flames of doubt. Is this just coincidence, or the missing piece of some huge secret slowly coming out? Of course, newspapers, websites like Knights Templar Order and This French Life, and documentary films made a big fuss, spreading the story all over Europe. Some experts compared the items to Crusader relics, pointing out that the shroud wrap and symbols on the cloth matched what you see in Templar burials from the 12 and 1300s. Even local legends say this was a Templar hideout after they got chased out of France in 1307. Still, no matter how exciting it sounds, the whole thing is buried in doubt. Plenty of scholars point out that Hammett never released any DNA tests, no official archaeology checks, and the tomb mostly shows up in entertainment docs like Bloodline, which got accused of being staged. Some say the footage was just a media stunt to get views. No original papers, no independent proof, and not one item accepted by museums. It all leaves the discovery hanging on a thin line between history breakthrough and modern myth. But no matter the arguments, the creepy feeling Rennes-le-Château gives off hasn't faded one bit. Just picturing a mummy in a Templar shroud inside a tomb lost for hundreds of years is enough to make anyone wonder, why is this secret popping up right now in history? And deeper still, could this be a sign of something bigger on the way? Looking at this find through a Bible lens brings chills. The shroud reminds folks right away of John 20, verses 5 through 7, when Peter saw the face cloth rolled up in a place by itself in the empty tomb, like a holy leftover from the resurrection. And that metal cup in the tomb calls up the Last Supper in Luke 22, verses 17 through 20, where Jesus lifts the cup and talks about the new covenant in his blood. Those two things, the shroud and the holy cup, are centerpieces of Christian faith. The bloodline of Christ legend ties in tight with Mark 16, verses 1 through 8, where Mary Magdalene is the first to see the resurrection. That's why many believe if a secret got passed down, the Templars, those gospel-keeping warriors, held it for centuries, guarding it from powers that wanted to wipe out the early church. Kind of like the apostles' run-ins in Acts 4, verses 1 through 22. Taking in the whole picture, the Rennes-le-Château find feels like a warning that the last secrets are coming out. Revelation 1 verse 7 says, "Look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him." And as tombs, holy objects, and buried legends start rising up, a lot of believers see it as the Lord breaking the final seals. The stuff talked about in Daniel 12, verse 4, when knowledge will increase, and what was sealed gets opened. Maybe Hammett is right, or maybe he cooked up one of the biggest modern legends of the century. But more important, every detail, real or not, mirrors a powerful spiritual current stirring the world. When old secrets get brought up again, when hidden relics get dug out, history, faith, and prophecy challenge us once more to look deeper at the time we're living in. And maybe Rennes-le-Château isn't just an archaeology tale, but a reminder that the end times are closer than ever. 3. Discovery at the Talpiot tomb in Jerusalem, Israel. Back in 1980, something shook up Jerusalem that had been quiet for thousands of years. The Talpiot tomb was dug up, showing old bone boxes. Right away, it shocked archaeologists and Christians everywhere, because a lot of folks thought this might be Jesus' family tomb. Those little boxes, with their fancy markings, suddenly became the center of big arguments and spooky ideas. Geology studies say the tomb got hit hard by an earthquake in 363 A.D., like nature broke it open to hide something important. Scientists wonder, was that shaking a sign from the past, warning that the world isn't ready for some secrets? Every layer of dirt, every crack in the rock, still seems to hold energy from a great time long gone. The bone boxes were lined up neatly, each one like it's telling its own story about people in Jerusalem over 2,000 years ago. Their fears, their faith, and secrets kept from the world. Some think the Templars, who guarded holy secrets, broke into the tomb in the 11th century, hid sacred things, and protected them from anyone who'd mess with them. Just thinking about it gives you chills and makes you curious. Details inside the tomb make it even creepier. Some boxes have Templar symbols, mysterious marks from old rituals. They're like hidden messages saying big secrets are still out there, waiting to be found. Who buried them? Who kept them safe for centuries? These questions pull you into a mystery you can't walk away from. The discovery spread fast around the world, from archaeology reports to documentaries like Bloodline, plus websites like Talpiot Tomb and Knights Templar Order. Gold chests, old coins, a metal cup said to be the Holy Grail. Every detail ties back to the Crusades and Templar legends. Since 1980, scholars have argued nonstop. Is Talpiot hiding the biggest secret in Christianity? Still, Talpiot's full of controversy. Plenty of experts doubt it's Jesus' tomb. Evidence is thin. No DNA proof. No official records. The Templar link is just guesswork, and the items might be from later times. Documentaries and the media can hype things up, turning stories into modern myths more than real history. Even so, the creepy, curious feeling about Talpiot sticks around. Pictures of the bone boxes, Templar marks, metal cup, gold chest, they all remind you that old secrets are still alive under Jerusalem. You feel scared, excited, and wonder if some holy power is watching everything we do. From a Bible view, the Talpiot tomb brings to mind Jesus' holy tomb, Matthew 27, 57-60, where Joseph of Arimathea laid him in a new-cut grave. The bone boxes make you think of the resurrection, like when Mary Magdalene saw the empty tomb in John 21-18, and the angel said Jesus was alive. If the Templars really guarded the tomb, they were like earthly angels, protecting holy secrets the way angels watch the tomb in Matthew 28, 2-4. The boxes, Templar symbols, and layers of dirt all point to big secrets once hidden. Every detail says some things are beyond our understanding, revealed only when the time's right. That earthquake in 363 AD adds to the mystery. Like the prophecy in Hebrews 12:26, the heavens and earth will shake. The shaking wasn't just physical. It stood for a time of change, when old secrets start to show, and people have to face holy signs. The Talpiot tomb leaves you scared and fascinated. History isn't just past events, it's messages waiting for us to figure out. From bone boxes to ancient objects, every piece shows a powerful spiritual flow where history, faith, and prophecy mix. The Talpiot find reminds us of an end times prophecy. Luke 21:25 says, "There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish at the roaring of the sea and waves." Every discovery, every Talpiot detail, is a sign telling us Jesus' return and judgment day are getting closer. In the end, Talpiot isn't just an old tomb. It's a reminder, a challenge to our curiosity and faith. The bone boxes, Templar marks, metal cup, and gold chest leave you chilled and hooked. A glorious past, Christian faith, and prophecy blend into a spiritual journey you can't forget. Talpiot makes us ask, will ancient secrets ever be fully revealed? What's God telling us through the boxes, the earthquake, and the Templar symbols? Are we ready to see the signs of the last days when Jesus returns to judge and bring eternal peace? 4. Discovering a mysterious cave at Royston Cave, Hertfordshire, England. In 1742, something shocked everyone in Hertfordshire. Royston Cave, a strange rock cave full of odd carvings that tell about old secrets time seemed to have buried. In the flickering light of oil lamps, the carvings come alive like they're sharing a story forgotten for hundreds of years. What stands out is the picture of two knights riding one horse, the famous symbol of the Knights Templar. These two figures look like they're on a holy mission. Who were they? What were they guarding? Or is this just something later carvers made up? The cave suddenly feels mysterious, a little spooky, but it sure sparks your curiosity. Royston Cave is near Baldock, where the Templars were strong in the 12 and 1300s. History books say the Templars around here didn't just do business, they built secret places to hide treasure and hold strange ceremonies. Could Royston Cave be one of those spots? Every step inside makes you feel the quiet presence of the past, of people who lived with deep faith and kept big secrets. The stone carvings seem to tell a story on purpose. Details like swords, circles, and symbols only insiders would keep your eyes glued. This mystery makes you wonder, is this real proof the Templars were here, or just a tale that grew over time? The age of the carvings is still argued about. Some experts think they're from the 14 to 1700s, after the Templars were shut down, which makes it hard to know who really made them. But that fuzziness just adds to the magic. Is this a hidden message, or the last trace of an old tradition? The two knights on one horse, bring to mind the two witnesses in Revelation 11, verses 3 through 12. Folks who'll stand up in the end times to speak truth and protect faith. Royston Cave might have been a hideout for loyal fighters guarding holy secrets. The cave also reminds me of the prophet Elijah. In 1 Kings 19, verses 9 through 18, Elijah hides in a cave to escape danger and gets guidance from God. In the same way, Royston Cave could have been where Templars went to pray, hold rites, and get ready to defend faith and Christian secrets. Every carving in the cave feels like a reminder that secrets come out when the time is right. Like Amos 3:7 says, "The Lord God does nothing without telling his servants the prophets first." Royston Cave is living proof of that promise, where messages about faithful warriors and sacred secrets wait for the right moment. The link to Revelation 19, verses 11 through 16, makes it even more dramatic. The knights in the cave seem like holy soldiers ready for the final battle to protect faith. The swords and armor details remind us the fight for faith isn't just history, it's still going on quietly through the ages. The air in the cave is both creepy and exciting. Every crack in the rock, the dust on the carvings, the dancing lamplight, it's like watching an old ritual come back to life. You feel scared and thrilled at the same time, pulled to look closer at every detail, wondering how many secrets are buried here and when they'll come out. Royston Cave isn't just an old dig site. It's proof that faith, secrets, and traditions keep going. Every carving, every line in the stone says faith has been guarded for centuries. You can almost feel the heartbeat of the past, the fears, the beliefs, the secret missions the Templars carried out. The mix of history, mystery, and prophecy makes Royston Cave special. It reminds us the big secrets of faith never disappear, they just wait for the right time. Stepping inside feels like walking into a legend where Templar history and the Bible meet, leading you to the next discovery. Royston Cave also says the loyal warriors, the secrets, and the faith are still around. What's carved in the stone isn't just pictures, it's a message. God is still watching, and signs of his return will show up right on time. Every step, every glance in the cave is a step into history where the past and prophecy come together, pushing you to keep watching and exploring. 5. Temple Church, London, England. Right in the heart of London, tucked away among old streets, Temple Church stands like a mystery that never fades. This was once the headquarters of the Knights Templar in England, where those legendary knights trained, lived, and guarded sacred Christian secrets. The old stone walls, round dome, and knight statues carved on stone bases feel both grand and a little spooky. Every brick, every carving seems to tell a hidden story that's been quiet for centuries, a history people only whisper about. Temple Church was built in the 1200s, with a unique design that copies the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. Every hallway, every wall, saw the Templars' mission to protect the Holy Land and its sacred treasures. After the order to disband the Templars in 1312, the place went to the Hospitallers, but the secrets stayed, buried in cellars and stone figures. Anyone who walks in here feels the past, glorious yet dark, and can't look away from the details. Inside, stone knights stand tall along the aisles. Many believe they are God's watchmen, like in Nehemiah 7:3. Set guards at the gates and put faithful men to protect the people. Each knight, each carved line, reminds us of Templar warriors who defended the Christian faith and died to keep holy secrets from enemies. Every statue makes you shiver and wonder what they saw. Prayers, rituals, secret vows that modern folks can barely imagine. What makes Temple Church special is the hidden crypt, uncovered after World War II because of bomb damage. Some call it legend, but it still excites researchers and visitors. In the dark cellars, every stone, every crack, seems to carry a message from the past. Secrets buried since the 1300s, sacred objects the Templars guarded, signs that may point to the Lord's return. According to records on templechurch.com, Temple Church was the Templars' administrative and spiritual center in England. They kept documents, protected treasure, and held ceremonies. The handover to the Hospitallers after 1312 didn't erase all Templar traces. Stone statues, round layout, and secret cellars remain, reminding us of an order where faith and power mixed, and ancient secrets still watch the passing years. One of the most curious things is how the church copies the temple in Jerusalem, as described in Ezekiel 40 through 48. The round dome, narrow halls, and side rooms echo the holy structure the Templars swore to defend. When you step inside, you don't just feel history, you feel a call to guard the faith, like the apostles and angels did in Scripture. The stone knights can be seen as God's watchmen, Nehemiah 7-3, calling to mind faithful guards who protected people and faith in troubled times. Temple Church, with its crypts and statues, mirrors the mission to defend the Holy Land and reminds us that loyalty and watchfulness matter in the last days. Every stone, every carving, can be read as a sign, a warning from the past, that God is watching and preparing His return. The crypt revealed after the war is more than an archaeological find. It's a symbol of opened graves, like Matthew 27:52. The tombs broke open, and many holy people came back to life. It makes you think our time is when secrets come out, getting ready for the final signs the Bible foretold. The dim space, night statues, and open crypt leave you chilled yet curious about what's next. History and local legends around Temple Church add more mystery. Some scholars believe the cellars were used for secret rites and to hide holy relics. The mix of records, round design, and stone figures creates a picture that's thrilling and eerie. You can't stop staring at small details, from carvings on the bases to narrow passages in the crypt, all inviting you to uncover what the Templars kept safe. Looking deeper into Temple Church history, we see a chain of signs tied to Bible prophecy. Daniel 9:27 speaks of the end times and rebuilding the temple. The church's design and crypt seem to echo that. Stone knights, hidden cellars, and the war-open graves can be seen as reminders. Ancient secrets are surfacing, and the time to prepare for Christ's return is near. The exposed crypts and long-lasting round structure let visitors feel the signs of the times, Matthew 16:3, when things long buried come into the light. This isn't just history. It's a wake-up call to revive faith and get ready for the final events. The quiet space, majestic stone knights, and dark crypt make Temple Church a meeting point of history and prophecy. You feel curious and a bit scared thinking of the ceremonies, Templar vows, and secrets buried for centuries. Every detail, from the dome to the statue bases, from dark cellars to stone walls, brings back a glorious yet mysterious era that holds your gaze. Temple Church isn't just a Templar landmark. It's a mirror of prophecy about Christ's return. The statues, exposed crypt, and round design remind us that past and present are joining, and the last signs of the age are opening. Visitors are invited not just to look, but to think, pray, and prepare for the day of the Lord's return, when every secret will be revealed and eternal peace will come. Revelation 21:1-4. The strange details, night statues, and revealed crypt leave you excited and on edge. Every step inside Temple Church feels like a journey through time, where past, present, and future meet. Each statue, each cellar, is a reminder. Faith, loyalty, and readiness matter, because the Lord is coming back, and His promise of salvation will be fulfilled. Looking back on the journey of discovery, the archaeological finds from Street, Mary's in Enville to Talpiot, Rennes-le-Château, Royston Cave, and Temple Church all reveal secrets that seem to have slept quietly for centuries. Every artifact, every Templar symbol, every ancient tomb or rock cave is a trace of faithful warriors, guardians of the Christian faith, carrying on the tradition from the Crusades right up to today. The Bible symbols that show up so neatly in each find, from the cross the shroud, the Holy Grail, to images of angels and the two witnesses, all remind us of the ongoing faith and sacred mysteries through the ages. These aren't just history. These discoveries carry a message for the time we're living in now. Earthquakes, tombs coming to light, Templar secrets being uncovered. They're all like the signs of the times that Jesus warned about in Matthew 16:3. You know how to read the weather on the earth, so you ought to recognize the signs of the times too. End quote. Every artifact and find seems to be waking up people's faith, reminding us that God isn't far away. He's still at work in this world, getting ready for the day he comes back to bring everlasting peace. Just like Revelation 21:1-4 says, a new heaven and a new earth. God will wipe away every tear. These archaeological finds are also a reminder that we can't just sit back. Study the Bible, pray, and live by faith so your heart stays awake. These old secrets aren't just stories to make us curious. They're signals for each of us to get ready to receive God's light and prepare for the day of the Lord's return. That thrill and curiosity when we uncover Templar ruins, ancient tombs, or mysterious objects, that's our chance to ask ourselves, have I lived my faith deeply enough? In the end, these finds don't just belong to the past. They're reminders that God is working in the present, through small signs or big events, so we notice and wake up from Street Mary's, Talpiot, Rennes-le-Château, Royston Cave to Temple Church. They all tell one story: faith protected, secrets kept safe, and God's light still shining through human history. If you'd like to join us on the journey to unlock Templar mysteries and the final signs of the age, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a single discovery. Let's explore the glorious past together, build up our faith, and welcome the signs of God in the here and now. Every story, every artifact, is a reminder that the time to wake up isn't far off.
On a remote hillside near Mount Ararat in Turkey lies
told Fox News Digital.
And we found out that it has almost 3 times as much organic matter inside the boat formation versus just right outside.
Oh my God!
A powerful storm drenched New York with staggering amounts of rain and
In the freezing skies of eastern Turkey, Mount Ararat towers over 16,800 feet high, where the Bible says Noah's legendary ark came to rest after the Great Flood. But now, modern radar has uncovered a shocking secret: a bunch of hallways, rooms, and right-angled structures buried deep in the ice, with sizes that almost perfectly match the ark described in Genesis 6:15. Can you believe it? These ruins that seemed like myths are slowly showing up right in front of humanity. At the Darupanar Formation, 18 miles from the peak, archaeologists found a structure over 538 feet long, looking like a petrified boat in the middle of the wild land. Under the dirt, there are traces of rotted wood, sea creature sediments, and unexplainable scientific data that's stunning experts. Is this just a wonder of nature, or the real remains of the ark that saved mankind? Genesis 8:4 reminds us, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. This discovery doesn't just bring back the old story, it feels like a warning from God. Humanity needs to wake up because a second great flood might be coming soon. Every clue, every hallway that appears is like God whispering, "Look and see his signs." Stick around until the end of the video. You'll see the latest evidence and clues that are shocking the whole world. Don't miss it. Let's start this mysterious journey by going back to when people first began hunting for Noah's Ark, where legend meets reality and sparks a story that's lasted centuries. Can you picture it? From ancient writings to modern satellite photos, this legendary ship has fired up the curiosity and courage of countless explorers, archaeologists, and even skeptical scientists. Is this just a historical search, or a gentle warning from God about a disaster on the way? As far back as the 3rd century BC, the tale of Noah and the Great Flood has echoed through civilizations. The Sumerians told of Gilgamesh, and a worldwide flood. The Greeks had Deucalion and his wife escaping raging waters. And India passed down the story of Manu, saved by a magical boat. They all share one thing: humanity, facing terrifying nature and trying to record how it survived. Mount Ararat in the Bible isn't just the highest peak around, it's a symbol of faith. Where Genesis 8-4, it says, "The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat." Its role is strengthened in Jewish, Christian, and Muslim traditions, making every cold wind up there whisper an ancient secret. In the 19th century, the search got real with actual explorers. In 1883, James Bryce, while surveying Mount Ararat, noted strange marks on the slopes that stunned scholars and pilots. In the decades after, from Ron Wyatt, with aerial photos to BBC and National Geographic missions in the 1,960 seconds, every effort aimed to answer, are these odd shapes remnants of the giant ship or just nature playing tricks? Each new find stirs excitement and doubt in the global community. But the hunt isn't easy. Ararat's harsh terrain, with permanent ice, steep slopes, and sudden earthquakes, has doomed many expeditions. Plus, its sensitive border spot between Turkey and Iran, along with archaeology bans before 2020, turned this into a challenge of geography and politics. Still, recent climate changes are melting the ice, revealing mysterious new structures and giving scientists fresh chances to keep searching. Imagine standing on Mount Ararat, looking down at Darupanar, and feeling divine signs unfolding. It's a reminder that, like Noah, we're all called to spot the signs and get our spirits ready for what's coming. As you follow this journey, remember that every bit of data, every photo, every trace that scientists and archaeologists gather helps clarify one message. God is warning humanity about global challenges ahead, reminding us that the time to wake up and strengthen our faith is now. Every layer of melting ice, every new discovery at Darupanar brings us closer to answers, but also raises more questions. Is this really Noah's Ark? Or is it God's way of slowly revealing a message so we realize a second great flood is near? Keep watching to the end, because this journey still has many secrets to uncover, and His warning is waiting for you to understand. What do you think? Those odd shapes at Darupanar, are they the real remains of the legendary boat, or just a perfect trick of nature? Walking up the hillside, you feel excited and almost holy, like God Himself is calling us to see an old message. These ancient mysteries aren't just history. They remind us we need to get ready for troubles that haven't come yet. Down in Doğu Bayazıt district, Ara province, the Darupanar formation stretches about 538 feet long, wide enough to look like Noah's boat from the Bible. Genesis 6:14-16 says, "Make yourself an ark of gopher wood, 300 cubits long, 50 wide, 30 high. Seen from the air, the soft curves of limonite look like an old boat sleeping in the dry rocks, making you wonder if this is God's warning about a second great flood." The discovery story is full of drama. Back in the 1950 seconds, a Turkish Air Force pilot snapped pictures of strange marks on the ground by accident, starting a mysterious hunt. Decades later, Ron Wyatt dug tunnels looking for iron nails he thought came from Noah's boat, though folks later said they were just basalt rock. Professor Faruk Kaya once said, "It feels like walking on the backbone of a giant creature, where time and nature meet." Early geology findings make Darupanar even more interesting. Tests on the limonite show iron ore mixed with flood mud, plus seashells and sea life traces, hinting the place was once underwater. Carbon dating puts the samples at 3,500, 5,000 years old, close to the Chalcolithic period. But the big question stays: natural thing or man-made sign, left to remind us forever of floods God used to test mankind? The Bible and old stories echo here. Genesis 8-4 says, "The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat." Looking at Darupanar, we see the shape match and feel a hidden message. Just as God warned Noah to prepare for the great flood, people today get a nudge about global troubles that could hit again. Every line, every section, every strip of limonite seems to tell an old story that's part myth, part real. Every time you study Darupanar, it's not just a hazy rock strip in the desert. You feel history breathing and myth mixing with science. You can picture God using these marks to warn us about a second great flood, that life needs saving if we spot the signs in time. Like the prophecy in Hosea 4:6, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Darupanar teaches us to stay alert, to have faith, and spot God's signs. Steps on Darupanar seem to link past and present. The boat shape, sea life traces, iron sediments, all whisper a reminder. God once used a flood to cleanse and save life, and He might use ways we haven't guessed to send messages to those who stay awake. The slow reveal of Darupanar itself is a warning that we need to be ready, that a second great flood could be real and we can't ignore it. As you keep following this journey, remember, Darupanar isn't just an archaeology site. It's a holy message. Every layer of dirt, every satellite photo, every survey step is a piece that says God is watching, reminding, and calling us to build our faith. The Bible match makes the whole story feel alive like never before. Just when you think the Darupanar mystery is almost all figured out, modern tech from 2024 to 2025 is shocking the whole science and archaeology crowd. Ground-penetrating radar, chemical tests, ice scans, all that data feels like it's sharing a brand new story, uncovering secrets folks have called legends for ages. The Noah's Ark Scans Project, a team-up between American and Turkish researchers like Andrew Jones, William Crabtree, Istanbul University, and Andrews University, used ground-penetrating radar to scan Darupanar. There's a central hallway, 234 feet long, split into 3 levels, with rooms sticking out at right angles, matching Genesis 6:15. The ark shall be 300 cubits long, 50 wide, and 30 high. These measurements make you wonder, is this the real remnant of Noah's Ark? Or is God hinting to us about another big flood coming soon? Chemical and biological analyses make the mystery even deeper. The soil inside Darupanar has 3 times more organic stuff than around it. Acidic pH, sea sediments, and shells, mollusks. These clues can't be explained by regular natural events, reminding us of Genesis 7:19-20. The waters rose up to 15 cubits above every mountain. On the icy slopes of Mount Ararat, long and clear shapes are showing up as the ice melts. Gary Eastman says, an ancient boat shape appears, long and sturdy, making folks both scared and curious. This form brings to mind Genesis 8:4. The ark rested on the peaks of Ararat. It's not just nature at work. It seems like a living prophecy, warning us. Just like Noah got warned, people today need to get ready for huge floods that God might send again. The first excavation info at Darupanar has been confirmed by Daily Sabah and Jerusalem Post, with plans for core drilling, material testing, and careful preservation. This is a rare chance to see a legend step out of the Bible and face reality head-on. Each new find sparks curiosity and also reminds us of a big global event ahead. Darupanar isn't just a ship from the past, it's like a reminder that a second great flood could hit if humanity doesn't wake up. Like Hosea 4:6, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." We're being warned through these traces. Stay alert, watch closely, and don't ignore the signs God is sending. With the 2024 to 2025 data, we're not just following an archaeology dig. We're seeing a thrilling moment where legends, faith, and science come together. Every step on Darupanar is a reminder. God once used the Great Flood to protect life, and He could still send warnings to our generation today. Scientists and archaeologists all agree that the Darupanar formation has features that make anyone's heart skip a beat. It's 538 feet long, 87 feet wide, and about 52 feet high, almost exactly matching the ship described in Genesis 6:15. This huge size is one reason scientists stop and think, could this be man-made or just a wild coincidence from nature? Can you feel the excitement right now? The evidence gets clearer with data from the Noah's Ark Scans Project 2024-2025. Ground-penetrating radar found a center hallway about 234 feet long, with 3 levels and lots of rooms branching off. Team member Andrew Jones said, "This structure looks built to survive a terrible flood." Fox News, the 26th of May, 2025. On the computer screen, the radar images showed giant shapes under the dirt, like a massive building that maybe only God could have put right there. What adds to the wonder is the chemical and biological tests at Darupanar. The soil inside has 3 times more organic material than normal, high potassium, an acid pH like rotted wood, and sea sediment with shells and seafood. Carbon dating puts it at 3,505,000 years old, from the Chalcolithic period, close to when the Bible says the Great Flood happened. Looking at this, you might wonder, is God leaving signs of his plan to save mankind through Noah? On top of that, strange ice structures on Mount Ararat are showing up as the climate changes. Gary Eastman's report says a boat shape seems to be rising from the permafrost. The first digging plans at Darupanar are announced, including core drilling and preservation, promising more new info. Right now, you can picture a giant structure buried for thousands of years, slowly coming out, and God letting our eyes see part of it. Science helps us understand better, but it also raises questions. GPR, electrical resistivity, ERT, and carbon dating are the main tools to figure out age and shape. Compared to other sites, like old Egyptian boats or buried wooden ships, Darupanar is still something never seen before. This data makes you trust science, yet marvel at a mystery it can't fully explain. Still, scientists are clearly limited by the data. There's no clear petrified wood yet. Carbon dates are sometimes later than Genesis says for the flood, about 4,800 years ago. This makes some scientists cautious. Is it a natural thing or a man-made structure God meant to last? It makes me think, while scientists have fancy modern machines, they can't explain events the Bible mentioned long ago. That just shows how small we humans are before his endless power. Some viewers have shared that if God preserved Noah's Ark, maybe the radar and chemical signs are his way of letting us see his miracle. Andrew Jones also said, this data isn't absolute proof, but it's pieces that, put together, paint a living picture of God's rescue plan. Overall, the Darupanar Formation and the 2024-2025 finds bring a rare mix of science and the Bible. Is Noah's Ark really under this ice and sediment, or a masterpiece of nature God put here to test our imagination and faith? The final answer isn't clear yet, but the surveys, radar, chemical tests, and carbon dating are opening mysterious clues, making us think, as the ship slowly shows itself, could it be a sign of a second great flood for all mankind? Genesis 6:8 reminds us, the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and he decided to save Noah and his family and every kind of animal on the ark. It makes war. When you look at the global disaster map for 2025, does it feel like all the signs are coming together to warn us? We've seen Noah's Ark show up on Mount Ararat, and now tsunamis, storms, floods, and rising seas seem to be reminding us that time is running out. And now, you and I will ride the waves and dive into the next part of the journey, the 5 big disasters hitting humanity, along with the prophecies that match them. 1. Tsunami off the Kamchatka Peninsula. On the 30th of July 2025, a huge 8.8 earthquake shook the waters off Kamchatka, Russia. Tsunami warnings went out right away to Japan and all the way to the US coast. Radar images, emergency alerts, and millions of people evacuating created a mix of panic and tension that stopped the world in its tracks. Folks in Japan stared at the ocean, wondering if those giant waves crashing in were a reminder that nature is pushing back, just like it did thousands of years ago. Scientists say the Kamchatka tsunami wasn't just a one-off event. It connected the US, Japan, and Russia with rising water and damage no one could predict. Every alert, every news update, every satellite photo drove home the point. Our planet is shaking in ways we haven't seen in ages. It all feels like a throwback to the old story, a worldwide flood where Noah's Ark was humanity's only hope. Here's the key. Genesis 7:19-20 says clearly, "The waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out." The Kamchatka tsunami was smaller, but it carried a powerful message. Water rising, global warnings, people fleeing in fear, but also curiosity. It all points to the great flood coming back. This event reminds us that the traces of Noah's Ark on Ararat aren't just history or legend. As water rises from Japan to the US, the link between the Ark and flood comes alive. God warned that we'd see fierce natural events as a wake-up call. Genesis 8-4 says, "The Ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat," a sign that the Ark once saved us in the past, and now we need to stay alert for the floods ahead. Every time the Kamchatka waves hit, we see nature's rhythm, the tie to ancient remains, and the Bible's warning. Time is moving fast, and God's message stays the same. Keep your eyes on the sea, get your heart ready, and let faith guide you through the storms waiting up ahead. 2. Big storm, Hurricane Erin, in the North Atlantic. Just when the Kamchatka tsunami was still fresh in everyone's mind, another fierce storm was heading straight for the US coast, packing winds and water like nothing we'd seen before. Come along as we follow Hurricane Erin, a reminder from nature that's both scary and hard to look away from. Hurricane Erin, a Category 5, tore across the North Atlantic in 2025 at a terrifying speed and slammed right into the East Coast, especially North Carolina and Virginia. It ripped through towns, knocking everything sideways. Trees uprooted, water flooding homes, live satellite shots, emergency news, and videos from the ground painted a wild, chaotic picture that still pulled you in. Time felt like it was speeding up, with every gust of wind saying loud and clear that nature can turn life upside down in minutes. Weather folks recorded super low pressure and winds over 155 miles per hour, forcing whole neighborhoods to clear out fast. This storm wasn't just weather, it was a big, symbolic wake-up call, bringing to mind that old story when water rose and covered the whole earth, and Noah's Ark was the only way out. You could almost feel your heart race, picturing rivers of water sweeping everything away, wondering if something like that could happen again. And when we look straight at Genesis 7:17-18, it says, "The rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. The waters rose and covered every high mountain under the heavens." Hurricane Erin, with its fierce water and wind, feels like an echo of that worldwide flood in the prophecy. Every blast of wind, every wave crashing over the shore reminds us that God's power is still here, and we need to stay alert to these signs. Erin isn't just a weather event. It's proof that nature is mirroring ancient warnings, the way the Darupanar site once showed traces of Noah's Ark on Ararat. As water and wind sweep across the land, the picture of fierce water and wind comes alive like a prophecy, telling us that if we don't watch and get ready, people might face the Great Flood challenge all over again. I keep wondering, is this nature's final reminder? Are the signs from Ararat and Darupanar linking up with today, warning that the time for a second Great Flood is getting close? Every second that passes, every hard gust of wind pulls us deeper into this mysterious story that history, science, and the Bible all tell together. A living message anyone watching Erin has to think about. 3. Heavy rain and long-lasting floods in Europe. Europe is dealing with another big problem from nature, And this time it's non-stop heavy rain and flooding. Water is rushing into cities, sweeping away everything in its path, and shaking up the whole continent. It's not just weather, it's a message from nature that leaves you worried, but curious to learn every detail. Summer 2025 inches, France saw extreme heat mixed with a long drought, then suddenly broken by one big rainstorm after another and non-stop floods. Cities like Lyon, Paris, and Bordeaux had water pouring into homes, streets turning into rivers, traffic completely stopped, and damage estimated at over 10 billion euros. The videos from the scene, urgent news updates on lemonde.4, and satellite pictures keep you holding your breath as you watch. Time feels short, and every downpour reminds us that nature can turn everything upside down in just minutes. The floods in France aren't just a one-time thing. They're part of a string of extreme events, a sign that the planet is sending serious warnings. Weather experts say the mix of heat, drought, and extreme rain and floods shows the climate changing fast, making natural disasters worse, and it brings to mind the old warning about the waters rising. The Bible warned mankind long ago in Genesis 6:17, "For behold, I will bring flood waters on the earth to destroy from under heaven all flesh in which is the breath of life. Everything that is on the earth shall die." Even if this isn't a worldwide great flood, the long and fierce floods in France in 2025 echo that prophecy about water covering the earth, reminding us that God's power is still here and we need to see the signs before it's too late. Every picture of flooded streets, uprooted trees, and people rushing to evacuate makes your heart beat faster, a reminder that nature can be God's way of warning us. These events also make Derupinar, the remains of Noah's Ark on Ararat, feel more real, as past and present come together, and every fierce rainstorm is a reminder that a second great flood might not just be a story anymore. 4. Serious flooding in the U.S., with storms and tornadoes coming one after another. In the first 6 months of 2025, the U.S. saw a string of severe thunderstorms and fierce tornadoes that caused about $34 billion in damage, according to Munich Re. States like Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Mississippi went through terrifying scenes. Streets turned into rivers, homes flooded, trees uprooted, and folks had to evacuate in a hurry. The live footage, emergency alerts, and satellite reports made it feel like time was speeding by, and every minute was a reminder that nature waits for no one. The heavy rains and wild tornadoes in the U.S. aren't just local events. They're part of a bigger global warning. Watching the rushing water, it's hard not to think of the great flood the Bible predicted, hinting that a second great flood might be closer than we think. Nature is sending a clear message. When water covers everything, its power can't be tamed. Psalm 29:3-4 says, "The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord is over many waters." This isn't a worldwide great flood, but the floods, storm surges, and tornadoes in the U.S. in 2025 echo warnings of rising waters and the awful might of nature when God's power shows through rain and wind. Every flooded home, every washed-out road, and every person forced to flee is living proof that time is running short. Derupinar, the remains of Noah's Ark on Ararat, and real events like the U.S. Floods are tightly linked, showing that the past and present are coming together. The warning of a second great flood isn't just a myth anymore. The tornadoes, downpours, and widespread flooding leave people scared yet curious, wondering, are we seeing the signs God wants us to notice before the final moment comes? Every storm, every flood, every whirlpool is a strong reminder, bringing Derupinar and the Bible's warnings to life, leaving anyone watching stunned and thinking hard. 5. The big tsunamis in Japan. Just when you think all the storms and floods have shaken the world enough, Japan gets hit hard by nature's power again. On the 11th of September 2025, Tokyo got slammed with rain pouring down like a bucket, 12 centimeters in just 1 hour. Streets flooded deep, power went out, and there were high warnings about possible tsunamis. Water rushed fast through the crowded city. Folks panicked and looked for safe spots while rescue teams raced against the clock. Pictures of rain coming down like a waterfall, strong winds knocking over trees, and floodwater pushing into neighborhoods made a scene that was scary, but also got you wondering, is this just a crazy storm or something bigger? All these things happening around the world, from Kamchatka to the east coast of America, from floods in Europe to Tokyo, sound like a warning song. They remind us of a message we've never seen before. Water can rise anytime, way beyond what we expect. In one moment, we stand in front of nature's strength and feel how fragile life is and how little time we have. In Isaiah 54:9 it says, "Like the day I swore that Noah's flood would not wipe the earth again, I have sworn I will not leave you." The warnings in Tokyo aren't just heavy rain, they're signs. A reminder that people need to wake up before a worldwide flood comes. Revelation 16:3 echoes too. An angel poured out the second bowl on the sea, and it turned into blood like a dead body. Every living thing in the sea died. The wild water and rising tsunamis feel like they're showing the warning of a second great flood, linking straight to the remains of Noah's Ark on Ararat. Every rain, every flood, every tsunami is a piece of a global message. They push us to watch, think, and get our hearts ready for things we've never seen, reminding us that history can repeat itself and there's not much time left to wait. You can feel the rush of this moment. Every minute that passes, the water rises and the Bible's warnings come alive more than ever, like nature itself is telling humanity about the promise and the flood that's coming. The journey from legend to science in 2025 has taken us to Darupanar, where that odd shape on Mount Ararat's slope looks just like Noah's Ark. Radar scans, chemical tests, and ice surveys show clues we can't explain yet, like 3-level hallways and right-angle rooms. It makes you wonder, could this be proof of the second great flood the Bible warned about? The natural disasters of 2025 drive the warning home. A tsunami off Kamchatka, Hurricane Erin on the U.S. East Coast, weeks of flooding in France, tornadoes across America, and Tokyo underwater, all fit a worldwide pattern of rising seas and raging storms. It's a reminder that time to wake up is running short. Isaiah 54:9 says, "Just as I swore the waters of Noah would never again cover the earth, so I swear I will not be angry with you." It's a promise and a warning. We need to get our hearts and minds ready. Genesis 7:19-20 echoes in today's extreme weather. The waters rose 15 cubits above the highest mountains, and every living thing was wiped off the face of the earth. The signs at Darupanar, the 2025 disasters, and these verses all point the same way. A second great flood could come, and we must stay alert and never ignore the signs. We can't afford to wait any longer. Watch, think, hold on to faith in God, and prepare your soul. The data from Darupanar and disasters around the world show that science and the Bible don't cancel each other out. They back each other up, proving God's power and warnings are real right now. Let every wave, storm, and flood be a living reminder. Share this message. Talk about it with others. Hit like, share, and subscribe to keep following the mysteries as they unfold. The Darupanar mystery and the events of 2025 call everyone to wake up, trust in God, and get their hearts ready for a second great flood, where history might repeat, but faith and preparation will carry us through.
This is a sample of one of the big scrolls. We have 5 of them.
Tin, một mô hình AI do các nhà khoa học nước ngoài phát triển đã hoàn
Have you ever believed that fallen angels, those supernatural beings once chained deep underground, are trying to break free right now? In 2025, a bunch of shocking finds at the Dead Sea have shaken up archaeologists and Bible experts. From the Haaretz newspaper to Bible scholars, everyone's talking about the oldest ancient scrolls ever known, and inside them, there's a warning from the very beginning of time. The book of Enoch talks about the Watchers, those rebel angels who got sent down to the abyss. This video will take you back to the Judean desert, where the sand and rocks are whispering secrets buried for over 2,000 years. We'll follow the trail of the book of Enoch, a book that was once banned, hidden from the regular Bible. And then, in 2025, new discoveries from Haaretz, plus this AI called AI Enoch, have pulled back the curtain. Those scrolls are more than 100 years older than any we've known, with weird writing that's never been decoded, like whispers from the deep waking up. This isn't made-up stuff. It's not some fantasy movie. This is real history, carved on animal skins, buried under sand and rock, and now it's coming alive again. All the signs point to one thing. The prison door down there is about to open. Today, we'll step into the shadows of the Qumran caves, where a Bedouin guy in 1947 accidentally woke up in the past. There, among the crumbling papers and dust, is an ancient prophecy about sin, about angels rebelling, and about when they'll come back. We'll read Enoch's words again, shine a light on them with 2025 Haaretz news, and see how the modern world, from AI and gene tech to weird things in the sky, is repeating that exact forbidden knowledge the angels once gave to humans. But before it all comes out, let's go back in time. Ask yourself, who was the first person to find these scrolls? And why do they have the power to shake up history, faith, and even the fate of mankind? Don't forget to watch to the end, because who knows, this might be the wake-up signs God wants you to know about, because you are the one He chose. To answer questions like that, we need to step back a bit to the history of the Dead Sea Scrolls, a priceless treasure that was forgotten for centuries. In 1947, out in the dry Judean desert, a young Bedouin shepherd boy named Mohammed Ed-Dib tossed a rock at a cliff near the Dead Sea. It made a sharp cracking sound in the dark. Following the noise, he found old clay jars full of rolled-up leather scrolls, faded with age. He had no idea he'd just uncovered one of the biggest archaeological finds of the 20th century, the Dead Sea Scrolls. From that first discovery, experts dug into 11 caves around Qumran. They pulled out over 900 manuscripts written on animal skin and papyrus, dating from the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD. Ancient Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek words had survived thousands of years, like something out of old stories. This was the secret library of the Essenes, a group of Jews living apart by the Dead Sea, cut off from the rest of the world. They might have been the ones who copied and saved the oldest Hebrew Bible texts we know. Scholars split the scrolls into 3 main groups. The first is Bible texts, parts from Genesis, Psalms, and especially the Isaiah scroll, almost complete and over 23 feet long. Compared to today's Bible, it matches about 99%, with just a few small word differences. That's strong proof God's word stayed the same for over 2,000 years, through wars, moves, and time. The second group is the Apocrypha, books not in the main Bible but popular back then. These include the Book of Enoch, with forbidden stories about fallen angels and God's judgment. The third group is Essene, community writings about their monk-like life, purification rituals, and strict rules. One note says, "They lived as children of light, waiting for the day the Lord punishes the wicked." It's like a prophecy echoing through time, making many believe the Essenes were chosen to guard the living word until the end. But the scrolls' journey wasn't easy. After discovery, they sparked fights over ownership among Middle East countries. Israel, Jordan, and Western scholars all claimed them. In the 1,950 seconds and 60 seconds, many texts went missing, sold on the black market, even cut into pieces for collectors. People called that time the Dark Age of Bible scholarship, when secrets about the Bible's origins were locked in politics and greed. Only recently, with advanced scanning from the Israel Antiquities Authority, all 25,000 plus fragments were digitized, rebuilt, and shared with the world. Those blurry Hebrew letters from millennia ago glow again. like God letting us read his words once more. That's when something mysterious comes up. Among the scrolls, parts of the Book of Enoch, the one removed from the main Bible, seen as dangerous to faith. Enoch, Noah's great-grandpa, says God took him to heaven, where he saw 200 fallen angels come to earth, teaching people magic, weapons, and sin. Why was a book detailing evil's origins and fallen beings cut from the Bible? Does it reveal too much about before the flood, when sons of God mixed with daughters of men, Genesis 6-4? And have the Dead Sea Scrolls forced the world to face truths buried for thousands of years? In Enoch, it says, "O mankind, don't think darkness lasts forever, for light still shines on those who listen." Enoch 93-1. A message like it's coming from Qumran to today, in an age when people chase power, science, and desires blindly. That's why many scholars see the scroll's appearance not just as a dig find, but a holy sign, a reminder from God that truth never dies. It just waits for the right time. When those leather pieces unrolled, the world went quiet. The shaky ancient writing seems to tell a story beyond history, about God's word, the fall, and humanity's last hope. And now, as night draws near, we'll move to the next part, where the Book of Enoch opens a door to a forbidden world. Fallen angels descending to earth, starting mankind's darkest chapter. It's really amazing and wonderful, isn't it? How the Lord's teachings always get passed down and show up right when us humans need them most. And here's a story that's even more incredible. You and I are the lucky ones getting to hear it. The dark secrets of the fallen angels in the Book of Enoch. Among hundreds of scrolls dug up from Qumran, one shook the whole religious world, the Book of Enoch. Unlike any other text, it tells about a time when angels didn't just watch humans from above, but came down to earth, sinned, and turned the whole order of heaven upside down. It's a story that goes beyond regular myths, full of legend, yet it makes the Bible come alive in a way nothing else does. Enoch, the great-grandpa of Noah, is mentioned in Genesis 5:24. Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. He's the only one, besides Elijah, who got taken up to heaven without dying. The book, named after him, 1 Enoch, was written in Aramaic, in 5 parts, from the 3rd to 1st century BC. It was popular among ancient Jews, but it didn't make it into the regular Bible for a simple but scary reason. It went into too much detail about the supernatural world, secrets folks weren't ready to know. The most famous part of the Book of Enoch is the chapter about the Watchers, those who keep watch in the sky. According to Enoch 6:11, 200 angels, led by Semjaza, swore an oath together on top of Mount Hermon to leave heaven and come down to earth. They were drawn in by the beauty of human women, and in an act of rebellion like no other, they mated with them. That's how the Nephilim were born, giant beings with superhuman strength. The Watchers didn't just sin with the flesh, they taught humans forbidden knowledge too. Enoch says, Azazel showed people how to make weapons, forge iron and bronze for swords and spears. Semjaza taught spells, astrology, and witchcraft rituals, and others revealed the art of makeup, making women attractive and alluring, pulling humanity deeper into sin. Every skill, every secret they gave was a piece of the fall, starting wars, lust, and violence. The result was total chaos on earth. The Nephilim, half god, half human creatures, grew greedy and bloodthirsty. Enoch 7:5 says they devoured all living things, then turned to eating humans. The whole world was filled with cries of pain. That's when the good angels like Michael, Raphael, and Uriel begged God to step in. Heaven's anger is described in Enoch 10:4-6. Bind Azazel, throw him into the darkness, and lock him under the rocks of the earth for 70 generations. The Watchers were chained and tossed into the deep pit, called the abyss or bottomless pit, to wait for Judgment Day. As for the Nephilim, when they were killed, their souls didn't vanish. Enoch 15:8-12 says, From the bodies of the giants, evil spirits